Hello and a very good morning to everyone. Friends, we talk about rising air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, rising ocean levels, climate changes all the time, don't we? Sadly, after today, you will need to add one more problem to that list. Have we ever heard of something called construction and demolition waste? It is also known as C&D waste. You probably know it, but you just call it by some other name. For example, it's called rubbish, sukha kuda, malwa, etc. in different parts of our country. Let me show it to you what I am talking about. So this thing here is the C&D waste that you see lying around everywhere in the city. So where does the C&D waste come from? C&D waste is generated when we make new buildings, new constructions, or even more when we are demolishing old structures to make new ones. It is generated even more when we make tunnels for roads and highways and metro rails, etc. These stockpiles of malwa then gets dumped as mountains of waste in our city. It can cause severe air, water and land pollution. I will show you how as we go along. This is no longer happening to somebody else. This problem is happening to you and me. Remember, C&D waste is an inert material. It is not chemically or biologically reactive. It will not decompose just sitting on its own. We will have to do something about it. If we don't take action today, we will literally end up living on our own trash. Hello, I am Manish Bhartia. I am a third generation entrepreneur who is passionate about investing into eco-friendly technologies. I have some patents in my name, patents that can really help solve some of the toughest challenges our planet is facing and resolve the shortage of natural building material. The purpose of my coming here today is to show you and prove to you why C&D waste is actually an untapped wealth. When I saw the theme of the year, unhindered expression, I began to think of possibilities, how we can turn these hindrances into opportunities. How can we make trash into cash? Let us first understand why there is a shortage of natural building material. As the Indian population is moving from the villages to the cities, the demand for concrete and construction is growing to an exponential rate. And as we try to become a 5 trillion economy, I am sure the requirement of these materials will be beyond control. This is a good problem. However, we must remember that we need enough building material to support these activities. There will be a huge demand for cement, sand, aggregate, bricks, which are anyway in shortage today. You will be surprised to know that even at today's rate, India consumes 1 billion tons of sand every single year and 2 billion tons of aggregate every single year, and this is just to meet the current demand. In monetary terms, you can say that this is a $28 billion industry. This high consumption has led to a huge gap in demand and supply. And like everything else, this has given rise to monstrous activities like sand mafia. Illegal sand mining. I was very surprised to know that illegal sand mining today is among the top 3 deadliest crime in the world. It is put in the same category as drug trafficking and human trafficking. So while at one end we are struggling with the shortage of building raw materials, imagine what is happening to all the C&D waste that is being generated through construction. I will tell you where it goes. A. These stockpiles of malwa cannot be burnt. It will just lie there. As I explained to you before, this will lie there for ages, and these dumpings are happening legally and illegally both. Some of the legal dumpings are on the municipal landfill sites, but these lands then become useless forever. They are totally infertile. B. These stockpiles generate airborne particles which we call dust into our cities, and that's why you get all these dusty roads. And C, it is actually very expensive to transport this waste outside the city limits. So what people do is take a shortcut and find the nearest water body, a drain or a lake, and dump it there. So while you have destroyed the water body forever, people won't see it from outside. So how much of this C&D waste do we actually produce? So by conservative estimates, India produces about 500 million tons of C&D waste every single year. But unfortunately, only 1% of this waste is recycled. And ironically, if you see the consumption of raw material, and if you take all the C&D waste that is being produced and you recycle it, almost 20% of the India's requirement for building material, for sand, aggregates, bricks, etc. can come from C&D waste. You don't need to mine the virgin material. And this is happening around the world. The whole world is waking up to the potential of C&D waste. For example, United Kingdom alone produces 66 million tons of C&D waste every year. And they have recovered 91% of it. And you will be surprised to know that almost 29% of all construction activities in UK happens only with the recycled material. Some countries like Singapore and Malaysia, they are importing C&D waste from other countries so that they can recover sand and aggregate. So we too in India should now start recycling 100% of our C&D waste. Why do you want to recycle 1%? What is the difference it is making? We are producing 500 million tons, as you remember, I said that before. And the surprising part is that the Building Code of India, IS 383, already allows the builders to use 100% of the recycled material to make lean concrete. So why can't we make all the lean concrete using recycled material? The problem is that we cannot track the waste. If we can track the waste, collect it, and then recycle it, we will be able to use it. And this is technically possible with all the good work that the concrete engineers are doing on the recycled material, on use of recycled material, and the available modern recycling technologies. You can actually use all the building waste to make new construction and truly achieve a circular economy. Whatever goes in, goes out and back in. That's the sense that we want to achieve. So we did a life cycle study which showed that if even a smaller city, a tier 2 city starts recycling, a single C&D facility can save as much as 500 tons of carbon dioxide emissions every single year. I mean, if you compare it in terms of coal, that's equivalent to 250 tons of coal being burnt all the time for 1 year. It can save, one single facility in a smaller city can save 9,000 gigajoules of energy, enough to power maybe 3,000 homes for the entire year. And this is not only about social impact, pollution, environmental impact. This has to be a commercially viable proposition. Somebody has to pay for it. So I'm here to tell you now why this is also a financially rewarding venture. So for example, the India's first recycling plant, which was installed in 2010 in the city of Delhi, that plant has already freed up 400 acres of land, which has a valuation of almost 400 crores. This land was freed up because we recycle waste. Even then, Delhi is producing about 15,000 trucks of C&D waste every day, and not everything is getting recycled. So imagine how much land Delhi can free itself when it recycles 100% of the waste. Secondly, it is also cheaper to produce recycled material than to mine new virgin material. So for every ton of C&D waste, one can actually produce 50% of sand, 25% of good aggregates, and 25% of material that can be used to make bricks. These bricks have been made using recycled material. People then use these raw materials to make value-added products like curbstone, paver blocks, precast concrete, etc., etc. Actually, there are no dearth of applications. Every day we are trying to engineer and produce new applications for recycled material. For example, the bricks made out of recycled material can actually go and replace the traditional clay bricks. You know, the clay bricks are made from excavating topsoil. Now this topsoil excavation and the lack of depletion of topsoil has become another environmental challenge. So we can solve that by using recycled material and make bricks from it and not make it from the topsoil. And finally, the biggest commercial benefit comes from saving of the transportation. As you know, the recycled material is available and it is being recycled within the city limits, and the construction is happening nearby. Therefore, we don't need to transport the virgin material from long distances. This is one of the biggest commercial savings of using the recycled material. Therefore, you can get this material much cheaper and use it for your construction. And looking back, I've been really fortunate to see the slow but steady progress of recycling in India. And actually, I've seen it from the front row. I believe that in times to come, this will become a standard norm for all construction. With the modern technologies, we can really change the way we develop cities or plan our cities. It must be crystal clear by now why recycling initiative should be adopted by all our cities. And when we plan new cities or new developments, we must plan and incorporate recycling along with the city plan, so that we do not have to move the material from one end to another. It is easy to process now in situ, on site, because the modern recycling technology does not emit any noise, it does not emit any waste, it does not emit any dust. So one can easily process it on the site itself. So the social, environmental and financial benefit of recycling C&D is so drastic and so obvious that the Government of India in 2016 issued an order making it mandatory for all tier 1 and tier 2 cities to start recycling. Even the Public Works Department has issued an order that their projects should start procuring recycled material if it is available within a reasonable distance. And now more and more cities are encouraged to do what Delhi did in 2010. They are all in process of installing the recycling facilities. There is a change coming. Personally, I want to dedicate my remaining time in helping the planet develop new technologies that can help combat the growing nuisance of waste. Even as we speak here, construction and demolition waste is gushing out of our concrete civilization at incredible volume and speed. Every effort to reuse it, recycle it, will make us closer to becoming a better tomorrow. It is our duty to take care of this planet and save us from this waste for the benefit of the next generation. I sincerely hope that from today you will see the C&D slightly differently. Thank you very much and have a nice day.